What's up, people? What you need? It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, but I wanted to do this video because I didn't realize how significant. I was doing some homework. I was in a I was in a boxing group, where they chat and everything, and they were mentioning Julio Cesar Chavez and Canelo, and a light popped in my head because a lot of people talked about this as a history-making event that Canelo jumped up 2 weight classes to face Sergey Kovalev. And the thing about it that I did not realize is that he jumped up 2 weight classes and immediately faced Sergey Kovalev. This is Canelo as a champion. I think he has the WBA belt still. Facing another champion at 175, jumping up 2 weight classes from 160 to 175. And I asked myself, how many champions in history of boxing actually did that and succeeded? We're talking about you're jumping up 2 weight classes and you're immediately facing the champion. So some certain names popped in my mind. I was thinking Manny Pacquiao, Roberto Duran, Sugar Shane Mosley, Emile Griffith, Jose Annapolis. These names just kind of started coming through my mind. And I started doing some homework. And it was quite amazing what I found out. Bernard Hopkins also comes to mind. With Bernard Hopkins' case, he jumped up 2 weight classes, faced Antonio Tarver. Antonio Tarver was the lineal champion, but he held the IBO belt because he had just beaten Roy Jones Jr., but he'd held the IBO belt. What does that mean? It's not really a world-recognized belt. The Ring Magazine's belt also is not recognized by the International Boxing Hall of Fame as a belt that makes you undisputed champion. There's no sanctioning body behind the ring belt. It's just a magazine belt. It's prestigious, but it's not the same as the WBA, WBC, IBF, or WBO. The most recent of them being the WBO belt, 2007. So I thought about it and I was saying to myself, interesting. Bernard Hopkins, though he did something which was pretty spectacular, he jumped from middleweight directly into light heavyweight, the original weight classes. He moved from one original weight class to the other. That's what the 2 weight classes, the 2 weight class leap is. And he did something that few middleweights ever did in the history of their careers. But he did not face a world-recognized champion. And I thought about that, and I said to myself, look at that. He actually did not accomplish that. It was later he faced world champions, at least world-recognized champions, according to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So I thought to myself, if Hopkins didn't do it, let's look at others. And it didn't matter weight class. And I started looking at Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley, ladies and gentlemen, did not jump from lightweight directly into welterweight and face Oscar De La Hoya. In fact, Shane Mosley had, if I'm not mistaken, he had 2 to 3 fights at welterweight before he faced Oscar De La Hoya. Then I said, well, how about Roberto Duran? And what shocked me was that Roberto Duran didn't just jump from lightweight to face Sugar Ray Leonard at welterweight. He actually had 9 fights at welterweight and also at super welterweight before he faced Sugar Ray Leonard, who was a world champion, and he was a world champion. Just like Shane Mosley was a world champion and Oscar was a world champion. So it made me start to really dig. I looked at Emile Griffith. Emile Griffith, early in his career, even before he became world champion, was fighting both at middleweight and at welterweight. When he became welterweight champion, he was still having middleweight fights. So he didn't just directly go up to middleweight either. I thought Mikey Garcia, how he did that direct leap from lightweight to welterweight. In fact, he had also fought at super lightweight. Got a taste of that. But he never fought at welterweight. And he failed to win against Errol Spence Jr. I thought about Jose Napoles, welterweight champion, jumps up one full weight class or two weight classes to face Carlos Monzon. He lost that fight when he directly jumped from welterweight to the full-fledged 160 pounds. I looked at Homicidal Hank, Henry Armstrong, who jumped up from lightweight all the way up to welterweight. He did a direct jump. Barney Russ, however, was not a full-fledged welterweight. And so he came in 142 instead of the 147 maximum limit. It's almost like a catch weight. I thought of Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard jumped up from middleweight all the way up to Donnie Lalonde, who faced him and was the light heavyweight champion of the world. But they also faced each other at a catch weight. Donnie Lalonde coming down to 168, Sugar Ray Leonard coming up to 168. There's always that asterisk on the weight. I was amazed at that. That in fact, they didn't jump up two weight classes, but one weight class in today's language, not the full weight class. I thought of Manny Pacquiao versus Oscar De La Hoya. He jumped up from lightweight as a lightweight champion and faced Oscar De La Hoya. But guess what? Oscar De La Hoya wasn't the world champion at that time. He wasn't the welterweight world champion. I started scratching my head and I'm saying to myself, who else in history can I think of that actually faced a guy at the full weight class and beat them, being that both are champions? And that, my friend, still has my head scratching. If you guys know someone in history who jumped up from one full weight class to another full weight class, that is two weight classes jump, and the other guy was a world champion, and the person facing him was a world champion, and he beat that person, please let me know. Because if the case is that most of the people I just spoke about didn't actually do that, then Canelo stands alone in terms of making history with this. So maybe we should look at guys who jumped up two weight classes, or what we say the original weight classes. They go from one to the next, and see how many of them were able to actually succeed at doing that against world champions like themselves. But it's absolutely and incontrovertibly, I'm sure, very rare. It's already rare that a guy jumps up two weight classes and beats the guy who he faces, but it's even more rare to see a world champion jump up from his weight class to face another world champion and actually beat them two weight classes. It's very, very rare. If not, Canelo may be the first to have done it. And I thought this was kind of crazy thinking about that. Roy Jones Jr. Did he jump up two weight classes to face John Ruiz? I don't know. You guys check that out. I don't think he had a heavyweight fight before he faced John Ruiz. So he may be one of those guys that actually succeeded at doing it. And again, heavyweight has no limits. So that may be one guy. And Roy Jones Jr. is an all-time great. I'm telling you guys, we're underestimating Canelo. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. Yes, like Roy picked John Ruiz because he was a good fit for him. Canelo picked Sergey Kovalev because he was a good fit for him. But we're going to see. I mean, Canelo did walk down Sergey Kovalev, whereas Roy boxed John Ruiz. But nonetheless, we're going to see what is left in store with Canelo's career. It's a ridiculous career. And he's not even done. And it orders for not only him, but why I always talk about it is boxing and sports has evolved. It orders for the young guys coming up as well. Because the bar is being set higher and higher and higher. And while people are being critical of what these fighters are doing, they're really blazing a trail that I do believe a lot of other fighters are going to be inspired to surpass. That's why I said, and I'll say it again, Floyd Mayweather as TBE, it can fall down. And it can fall down sooner than we think. You guys, have a great one. Peace.